Tiva Kavanot, because I don't have the other book anymore. And I'm not 100% sure where we are. I know we're somewhere around page Mem Hes or Mem Dalid. I know we read some of this. I'm going to go to because we're reading the Pirush as we go, so I'm going to go to number Kuf Tes Zayin. Seems like a decent place where he had talked about there's two different types of hair on Zer Anpen, and one has coming from the beard. So Vaval Sa'aras Rosh, he said, but talking about this, now let's talk about the hairs that come from the head. Einin kol kakashim, they're not so hard and they're not full of dinim like the hairs of the beard. So therefore there's hairs also on the head of the nekeva. So I think he had said that there is no beard on the nook. I think we might have seen something different from that in the Sifra Tzniusa, but slightly different. So only the hairs of the beard. Dinim kashim v'tekifim. These are the only place where you have these really nasty dinim. B'shum kach ein the keva the dikna. So for this reason, she doesn't have a dikna. Now the reason he said is what? I don't know. Kadei shelo ye'achzura b'baritzaynim b'achisat chazaka kanal. Because the woman or the female aspect is exposed to the outside, what is not kaddish. Amnam Sa'aras Arosh the Hiyosim Shehem Einum Kashim v'Tekipim Kokach. So they're not so tough and not so difficult. Therefore, Ein Bechem Chash Miyanikas Chitzayin. So therefore, there's no worry there that the Chitzayinim are going to come and grab onto that and start sucking kedusha. For this reason, the nukva has a softer set of hair on her head too. Who ba'adam atachton also oski b'psari chesed aloka, like we have said before. Number Kufyud Zion says v'al kach ein nimshachim b'chem b'moisros klipa kamo osen shebezakan. So therefore, they're not moving out these klipos, these leftovers that we unusable parts. V'kevan shesaras arosh heim einim dinim kashiv v'tekikim kasaras adikna. So you talk about two different kinds of hairs here. He says, Mishum kach einim shachim b'chem b'bechinas moisros v'klipos. So therefore, the hair does not carry the same kind of difficulty of the mosros. Mosros are another word for that is also pasulos. This is where the klipas hang on. So therefore, over here in the hair of the head, not so bad. So he said, even though we understand that the hair of the head also has these mosros, but the klipos no. So therefore the dinim that you find for the hairs of the head, now how would it be like that? First, once again, there's no transition here for me to really understand exactly why you would have mosros. We'll wait and see, but why we'd have mosros in the beard and not mosros you do have mosros in the hair, and why they don't attach themselves to the klipos. V'ikr motzom hu derek yisod. So Igor Yisias and Moisros Shehim Adinim at the Kifin Shal Saras Arosh. So the main place that this comes from, he says, Hu Yotze Derech Yisod, through the Yisod. Now, how does this work? Asher Sham Hu Ma'aver Hasheni, because this is where the second bridge is. Nekev Yisod. So the opening of the Yisod, Hu Ma'aver Hasheni, Be'erek Lenekev Ha'ach. So now let's just the words are. He says that what he says. Where are we? Nekev Yisod. He says Sheni be'erik and the Nekev Ach. It's in relationship to the opening that is by the hole that's in the back of the back of Zeranpin Hama'aver Harishon. So this is the first bridge that allows the flow of what's inside of the hairs to go through. So this bliss place hamayim derek ponim. So menekev yisod nidachim are pushed out. So now there is an opening in the yisod. From that yisod are pushed out v'yotzim moisros hamayim minaguf b'tzad ponim, from the body onto the side of the face. V'keven shemoisros chaladocha behim rak dinim, and since these are only dinim, Now, I should really need to go over that a little bit because I'm not quite sure that I followed it. Because it's slightly missing something. Where does Yesod come from? I know that we're talking about the Yesod of Bina or Tvuna goes to the Chazad Zeranpen. At the Chazad Zeranpen, there's an opening. That opening is the first bridge. That's why I understood what he said. Let me read it again. Menekev Yesod. So now as the Sod pours out, the Dachim v'yotzim moistras amayim. So then the leftovers. Now again, he has the word mayim. So let's just translate the word flow. Min guf beside the panim, from the body on the side of the face. Now I don't see that. I don't really understand that. I thought we were talking about an opening in the back. And since mostras, in other words, are dinim, they're caution. But they're not klipos. So therefore they're only mosros of the flow, of the water. So as he's using the word water. Which is not the same came as the opening of the bag. So that's where the leftovers of the food, shehem klipos gemuros, which are klipos gemuros. So we see over here in his explanation, he has a few things that are, to me, it's confusing. So I have to learn. He said he used two words that here. One is mayim, and the other one is food. So he said beneka v'yisod nidachim v'yotzim moistras hamayim min aguf b'tzad hapanim. So it also comes out on the side of the face. So he says from the nekev of the yisod. And since these mokros are on the front, they are very difficult. So therefore they're called the leftovers of the water, which is not the same came as the nekev that's in the nach. So what is he saying? I mean, tell me, is he saying that there are two openings? One is from the yisod and it pours out on the front, and the other one is the nekev in the body, or are there two nekavim, one on the back, one on the front? We'll see as it goes along, maybe we'll understand it better. So now he says this is where the leftover of food is not the same as water. Shem klipos gemuros. So I have no definition at this point between water and food, what they actually mean in this case. Only the part that has to do with the food, which is more physical, let's say, just trying to piece this together, he says shemimena yotzim moses Michael, the food, which is more physical, shehem klipos gemuros, which really have klipos in them. Now I'm not sure exactly what I said. Below derek ach. Eluch mosros amayim. So now we're talking about the mosros amayim. Yotzim derek uponim daika. They only go down on the side of the face. Veinim yotzim derek ach, and they don't go back to the bed. That's the part that has the water in it. Kafi sheyotzim. So since they go yotzim hamosros, since the leftovers hachila shehem haklipos. So he says it. But, he introduced these two words, and I'm not 100% sure what he means, because we're talking about a spiritual world. So then he said, Nimsa, so he says, this is what he's trying to get to. We're talking about Yifne v'yitol. So he says that I guess he means that, not 100% sure. Oh, wait. Oh, I know what he's talking about now. He's talking about people. And you have actually an opening in the back, and you have an opening in the front, because he's talking about Yifne v'yitol. Nimsa sheyesh shnei mini motzos. So therefore, coming out of the body are two different types of things. The urinary part, which is in the front, and this is water. And the water has not, even though that it represents dinim, because what? It's moisros. We find another word for moisros. I'm not sure what it is, but it's the psul part. Shnei mini motzos. Ha'achaz hi gedolim shehem nimshachim b'dinim akashim v'tekifim. One is what he calls the gedolim. They extend nimshachim Machadinim akashim from the really tough dinim, but to keep him shall saras adikna v'chem yotzim derek neked ach, and they go through the rear end. V'chasheni hukatanim, and the next one is something smaller. Shehem nim shachim min the dinim. They also come from the dinim shel saras arosh. which come from the hairs of the head. V'heim yotzim derek yisod b'tzad panim. So what I'm missing from my completely understanding is how you get from the hairs of the head to the concept of the openings in the front and the openings in the back. But he's just saying that one is considered mayim, which is dinim kashim, but at the same time there's no klipos. On the other side, in the back, there are klipos. So here we're talking about the Adam Elyon the Rasilo Elo Shnei Minim Motzaru Shehem Gedoyle v'Ketanim. So now we said with the front and the back, he says Heim parts of their Anpin the Ol Rasiyah. So I said that it was about people, so he switched me around, and he said no, it's talking about spiritual elements. So now we're talking about this concept when it's in the morning. When a person goes to the bathroom in the morning, whether both the front and the back. So all that we're talking about is an olam asiyah. So now everything we're talking about is taking out the basulas that are inside of the body, who shayach rak b'zer anpin to olam asiyah. It's only talking about the letter Vav or Zer Anpen in Olam Asiyah. So let's go back and let's see this. The Kiviyachol, we might think like this, that there are klipos inside of the Netzachod Yisod Dezah, the Zer Anpen. Masha Ein came to Partsufim Hagavohim is Zer Anpen, which is not the case by the higher level of Partsufim that are above Zer Anpen, the Siyah. Shebechem lo shayach hatikun izeh, because the idea of going to the bathroom is not shayach over there. V'kevin she'ein bepinim yusum klipos, because inside in the higher worlds they don't have klipos. V'av benai shalahem, and even in their lower part. So now we go right here, and kenizka bezoyer and parsha b'midbar. He keneged zehu tikun seder hakarbanos, because corresponding to this we also have the concept of the order of the Kavanot, Sha'ana Oimrech B'Tefillah, that we say before davening. Excuse me, that we say while we're praying. Hatikun shall yifne hu ba'olam hasiyah, is an olam hasiyah. That tikun takes place in the world of action, hu b'bechinas ha'maisa, because it's something that is done. So he's talking about olam hasiyah. U'genegnam yesh gam the sakein as olam hasiyah b'bechinas hadibur. So corresponding to them, there's something else that comes out, and he says, "Gam the sakin as olam barasiya bebechinas adibur." So this to perfect speech. And how does this tikkun take place? As a result of moving through the karbanos sha'amrim lifnei psukim dezimra that are said before the psukim dezimra. Now he said, "V'noida shehem barasiya." So understand that this is in our world. But Ramiras Karbanos, and when we're saying the Karbanim is Saknim Olam Arasiya, it is a tikkun for the lower level of spirituality, which is our world, as in the Panemius, in the aspect of Panemius. Now he works in the idea of Panemius. If there's a Panemius, there must be a Chitzonius someplace, so I'm not sure what he means. He means the aspect of the inside. Now we're going to get into this, he says, more later. I'm just giving you an outline. The Lokaman is Bayer Hativ. Inyan Tikkun Olam Asiyah, how in fact it is that Olam Asiyah is set up properly. V'nahana Asa b'miras HaKarbanos, that takes place when people say their Karbanos, they'll say the Nusach HaTefillah according to the Siddur. V'amnam Inyan Yitul Adam. Now let's go over here now. So now we're going to start about the Inyan of Yitul Yadav, washing your hands. So once again, even though the order of how we do this is that we wash our hands first, but for whatever reason, which I'm not 100% sure, because he starts talking about the yifne first. Then now we're going to come over and we're going to talk about washing the hands. So this takes place in a different way. Hagavana the tilas yadayim b'boker, the kavana that we want here when we wash our hands in the morning. He kavana acheres mina kavana, and let's go on. Higamoshe yesh saras ba'adam elyon dasiya. So just like we say the adam elyon dasiya. One moment. Okay, we're going to start number Kuf Lamed base again, or Kuf Lamed Aleph. Ba'amnam inyan yitol adam. So let's talk about washing your hands in the morning. Hu ba'ofen acher is a different way. It's something different. A kavana on the tiz yadayim b'boker he kavana acheres min a kavana shal yifne. It's a different kind of kavana. So the kind of yifne, he says, is eliminating mosros from your body. Different kinds of mosros. One is called mayim, so now I understand what he's talking about. And the other one is called food. So he's saras ba'adam elyon d'asiya. So just like the adam elyon d'asiya, which is a zer anpin of asiya, shehem bechinas dinim makashik nitzker, which is a concept of difficult dinim. Hayinyan ki kamosha sheninu la'ela. We learned this already. Sheyesh shtei bechinus saras. There are two different types of hairs. Bezer anpin d'asiya. Shahim Saras Arosh Vachazakan, which are the hairs of the head and the hairs of the beard, but Bechinas Dinim Akashim, which all of the hairs of the beard had the hardest dinim. Gam Milvad Zeh Yesh Ba'adam Atzmos Sot Chamesh Mini Gevuros. But also inside of the man, there are 5 different types of Gevuros. Shahim Pei Hey are the peh, V'chaitim, and the nose. V'zeroa, and also he says in the arm, v'yad, and the hand, v'atzbos, and then you have, so he's counting them up. The peh is one, the chotim is the second one, the zeroa, the arm is another one, the hand is another one, and the etzbos, and then the fingers. K'bavur etzleinu be'idris niso. So this is explained. So apparently over there. K'mo kach yesh b'zechad ha'asiyah, b'chinas dinim nosafos. The zav asiyah has other dinim. Milvada Amalael, besides those dinim that are coming from the hairs of the head and the beard. The El V'chein Chamesh Gavuros, these are the 5 Gavuros of Mispashtim, V'shornim, Begufa to Zer Anpin to Asiya, which spread into the body of the Zer Anpin to Asiya. Mechameshes Mini Makomos Shehem, as he says it again. One is the peh, the next one is the Chotim, Bezroa, Biyad, and the 5 Biyad, and then the 5 fingers. He said, "V'hineis aras hazakan." So the hairs of the beard, heim saviv v'chaitim, they surround the nose. The saviv the peh, they also go around the mouth. The saviv is roa, and they also fall down over the arms. On exactly how they fall over the arms, let's see. Saras adikna heim dinim. So let's understand the dinim kashim. The hiyosim esavivim saviv gevulus chameshes mekomos, because they surround these 5 different places. Hagavura v'chadinim sheba'adam. V'ofen shesa'aras hadikna. So let's look like this: the hairs of the beard, heim saviv v'choyte v'saviv the peh. They surround the mouth. They surround the nose. V'saviv v'zroa. They also go around the arms. V'chein saviv v'yad v'saviv v'etzbos. Now, exactly how the beard of the Adam Elyon that we're talking about here in Avasiya, how that beard goes down his arms and covers his hands, I don't understand 100%, but that's what he says. Amnam atzman on his karm. So let's just talk about these 5 gevuros. They continue on until you get to the end of the fingers. In other words, there's a flow here. But the 5 gevuros that we're talking about themselves, so he's just repeating again. They're coming from these 5 different places, which the mouth, the nose, the arms, the hands, and the fingers. B'siyam is pashtusam, hu b'siyam it's both. So as far as these 5 gevuros go, I can understand the concept of the gevuros in the hands and the fingers because they grasp. That's a concept of gevuros. So I guess he means the flow ends there where you actually see its manifestation. Number Kuf Lombard Lamed Zayin, he said, B'sham Yom came b'chitzayim, and this is where the chitzayim come in. B'siyam eretzbaos shehem makom b'siyam ispashtus dinim, because therefore your fingers is where the end of these dinim come. Sham Yom came b'chitzayim, because the chitzayim like that. Ki kol gevuros ha'elu chem mispashtim derek azroa, so they flow down, these gevuros flow down the arm, el siyam etzbaos, until it gets to the end of the fingers. So there these gevuros which are spreading from the nose and the mouth, derek azroas, through the arms and then ultimately the hands and the fingers, until they actually reach the end of the fingers. So he says that this is the flow, and understanding that we're talking about a spiritual entity. Yeah, I'm trying to understand this spiritual entity in Olam Asiyah. So therefore you have 5 fingers on the right hand, Mantzapach. So they correspond to these dinim. The Mantzapach is sweetened dinim. So let me see. So therefore you have 5 fingers on the right hand. So the Mantzapach, with the double letters, is that this Mantzapach really refers to the right hand. Shehem chamesh gevuros and iskaros. Those are your 5 gevuros. Elu chamesh osios Mantzapach hem chamesh gevuros and iskaros hacha bepirkin. So he says asher siyam ispashtus hu because they stop at the fingers. Siyam ispashtus elu chamesh gevuros hu bechamesh etzbos yad yamim. The Gavar Yudat says you already know this. Kihem osios, they are the letters. He's explaining it out. Kefuros, they're the double letters. Kavar Noida, Shechameshes osios Mantzapach, these are the double letters. Heim osios Kefulos, double letters, but osios alpha beta. So they're the 22 letters of the alphabet. There are 5 of them that are doubled. They're called the Sophites. Sheharechab Yeshnam Mem Pesucha Vestuma, because in them there are 2 different kinds of mems that are the first mem, the mem that comes into 22 letters, is a pesucha, so it has a little opening in the bottom, the stuma, and then also there's a mem sophit which is closed. So let me say v'nun kefufa. So he's going through the Mantzapach. V'nun kefufa peshuta. So then the nun has a pashut, and it also has a double letter. V'tzadi also is a kefufa and a peshuta, and the pan is a kefufa and a peshuta. It's also doubled and singular. Kefufa is also a kaf sofit and a simple one. So let's say this: the mem, which is the mem of Mantzapach, hapasucha, which has an opening at the bottom. V'osios nitzpach, v'mem hapasucha v'osios nitzpach, the other 4 letters besides the mem, hakafufos, which are doubled. Heim omdos be'emsach hatevos, they're actually in the middle of the letters. Mem is stuma, but the other one, v'osios anatzpach, those hapashutos, heim osios shebesof hatevos. These are letters that you find at the end, the double letters at the end of words. So that's what we see is that the Mantzapach, he says, with the exception of the mem, he says are found at the end of letters, whereas the mem is found in the middle. So there's also another set of 5 gevuros, biyad small. So here we're only talking about the right hand, which is the fingers represents the Mantzapach. Biyad small, b'chamesh etzbos smally, in the 5 fingers on the left side. V'kevan she'osios Mantzapach him kefulos. So we understand Mantzapach represents what I call the Sophites. So you have this on the right hand. Which is again 5 gevuros flowing to the end of the fingers. This is another set of Mantzapach on the left side. The meramas the chamesh gevuros b'chamesh bowls shel yad small. Mamlan calls zecha b'chu b'zeranpin. Now here we're talking about zeranpin. Kol masha shenida shachameshas baros yad yamim. So the 5 fingers of the right hand. V'chein chameshas baros yad small, and also the 5 fingers of the left hand. Meramaza the chamesh gevuros Mantzapach fulim. This is we're talking about the double letters. V'zecha v'daika the parts of zeranpin b'vad. This is speaking only about the parts of zeranpin. The fi shesham, because there over by zeranpin. Shesham afilu b'chesed shelo yesh sigim k'neidah. So over there in Zer Anpin and Olam Asiyah, even in the chesed, let's read it. Mishum shebeparts of Zer Anpin nivnachem chadinim k'neidah, because we understand that the parts of Zer Anpin, the spheros of Zer Anpin, are all made out of dinim. The hainu, that is to say, what? So they're made out of the dead kings who died. So therefore there's leftovers. Even in the right side, which always represents chesed. Shehi Sfiras Chesed. Ki gam min ha-kesef yotzim sigim. So let's talk about kesef. So also in kesef, he says, comes out sigim. Al tisma heich yesh sigim bechesed zer anpin. Don't ask this question. Why would you have pasulos, leftovers, what's the right word? Dross, I think, I'm not sure. Yesh sigim bechesed zer anpin, and the chesed zer anpin, v'keviv shebetsina shegama kesef. So we see also, even in silver, which really silver is the concept of chesed, and he shows it in other places. There are leftovers, even chesed, there are gevuros over there. Also from the water, which is, you have silver and water also referred to chesed. There's some opaqueness about it. There's shmarim kanoida. There is in water, even water, which is chesed, there's some sediment in there that is not pure. So therefore, in this way, this really, mayim refers to chesed. There's some darkening in it. Shmarim and leftover sediment, which are really gevuros. So in other words, there's a mixture in olam asiyah. So the same thing is true about the toes, he said. Small is also in the toes, because they're also at the end of a flow. So you have 5 fingers, you also have 5 toes. It's bows, because talking about the fingers, the call of the 2 hands, romazos al chamesh gevuros. So we understand that there's a reference there to the 5 gevuros. Kain kub tzbos raglaim. So the same thing as the toes. Sheyesh chamesh tzbos. Hein beregel yamin. Whether we're talking about the right foot, hein beregel small, or the left foot. Ve'elach chamesh tzbos, the kol regel. So the 5 toes of each of the feet. Romaz's gam came elamesh gevuros. Over there, you see the reference to the gevuros as well. V'lakav v'lachain. So therefore, lo timse aver sheyizgalabo as mitzius kol ha'eser ela b'yadayim v'raglaim. So therefore, what is words? We do not find any limbs that brings out all of these sheyizgal that are revealed mitzius kol ha'eser, which really shows you that there's 10 over here, that on the right side and on the left side, ela b'yadayim v'raglaim. His words are, the Tiz writes, Kevin shebishnecha yadayim v'shnecha raglayim izgalim ezer osias Mantzapach, because here is where you find the letters Mantzapach, hapeshutos v'stumos. We find both of them. We find the simple letters, and we also find the Mantzapach. The peshutos, the simple ones, and also the peshutos v'chastumos, and also the letters which are closed. Shehem Mehavavim yachtav eser gevura. So if you put them all of these vavs together, why do you say vav? Shehem mehavavim yachtav mehavavim are eser gevura. So if you add them all up, they come to 10 gevuros. V'chein ein shum aver me'evarei ha'adam. So therefore, there is no limb that comes from the limbs of a man, shemizgalim metzias kol ha'eser, where you can see all of the 10 spheros coming out. Chutz mechayadayim sheyesh bechem eser etzbos, except for the hands, v'chein reglayim, and also the feet. Those are the 2 places that you see the revelation of these gevuros. Number kuf nun. He said lefisha shesham kusiyam ishtalshul dinim, because this is the place where the dinim come to an end. So in other words, they pile up there. It's like a yisod too. Hatam she'elu ha'eser gevuros mizgalim davka be'etzbos yadayim v'raglayim. So the question is, why are these gevuros only seen here? Hum shum shebe'etzbos shehem siyum yadayim v'raglayim, which is at the end. Sham ku makom siyum ishtalshlos adinim. As we said, he's repeating. So therefore, v'chein kol ha'eser mizgalim v'shnecha bekomas halalu daig. This is the reason why we wash our hands in the morning. Even if you didn't go to the bathroom yet. And this is the reason, because around the fingers and around, he's not mentioning the toes over here, but around the fingers, we always have these, the end point is where the klipos are found. And this is where the klipos come and suck. So specifically, he wants to say that the point is at the nighttime, which is the time, the main time when they nurse, they feed off of these fingers. So therefore, when a man gets up in the morning, so therefore a person has to wash his hands, even if he didn't go to the bathroom yet. Because he has to remove the klipos from his hands through this washing, or he used the word netila, so of the taking of water. And as a result of the water, I guess he didn't say, but water represents chesed. It's able to remove the kitzainim. So why it has to be water? So I thought that out, so he said it. So he said that because it's chesed. Because you pour chesed al yadayim shehem gevuros and iskaros, which are gevuros, you sweeten them. Bezos mamtikim adinim gevuros, so this that causes them to become sweetened. Umamela, and along the way he says mistalkim misham yanikas kitzainim. Because all of this is the secret of Asiyah. So this is what the Rav says, Shabasiyam at the end of the finger, Sham Kum Makom Shlitas Dinim, that's the place the dinim grab a hold on. V'achis is a klipos, and it holds on to the klipos. Shemachmas Kain, because of this reason, Yeshlo Yitol Yadav, the person should take water and put it on his hands. So what we said up above when we're talking about going to the bathroom, there you're talking about inside of the body, and you're trying to remove the pasulos from inside of you. The body calls but all of this is only talking about olam asiyah. Because in asiyah everything lands in our world. What happened here? Okay. Okay, going back to number Kuf Nun Gimel. He says, Asher Sham Hu Siyam Ispashtas Adinim. This is where the buck stops. So here, in our world, everything falls here. So therefore the dinim run to the end of the fingers. Real fingers. And then the moistures come out. This is where you find the pasulos. So therefore, in the world in which we live, that's why you have the concept of yifne there. Shehi means to clean out, mapanimios, from the inside of the body, as a chitzaynev al klipos. Everything that's outside and all the klipos. Number kuf nun hey, he said, v'amnam af im bi'arno ki yitol yadov hu besod olam arasiya. So even though we're saying that this is the concept of our world, it's in real hands trying to remove these klipos from it. The main thing is in this world, because in our world there's plenty of zohama and klipos. So he now let's say now let's see what he said. Let's translate it first. He says, Hine hu bo, it is in it, bebechinas hayitzira, the concept of a higher world, asher ba, that's in it. Now I don't know what he means yet. Kavanaso hu he, shezeh hatikon hu bebechinas hayitzira shabachasiya. So this is the concept of the Bebechinas Yitzira Shebarasiya. So it's, in other words, in Asiya itself, our world, there's a higher spiritual element that comes into it. Shaharei Kol Olam Ba'olam, Ma'arba Olam Asabiya, for the four worlds of Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya, all of them have all the other ones. Hu Atzmo Kol Umarabiya, so it's Asiya has an Abiya too. Because of a Rav Shagavanas Yitol Yadav, so the Kavana, when you go to wash your hands in the morning, and the same thing when you go to the bathroom in the morning. He says, Shehem ba'olam b'chasiya, which refers to, okay, we're standing on the ground here. So it's actually a higher level than the Yasiya Vasiya. Rotza Lomar, so what does that mean? Yasira really refers to Zer Anpin. Rotza Lomar, the Zer Anpin Asher B'chasiya. So it's the Zer Anpin concept of Olam Asiya. How does that work? Mashin is boyer says Zeh Hatikon Hiba B'chinas Yitzira. So this Tikon here is the aspect of Yitzira. Sheba Olam B'chasiya. Hainish parts of Zer Anpin Dasiya. Now I'm not getting a what was I? It's the spiritual aspect that flows into a Siyah. He's not giving me an exact definition of what the Yitzira of a Siyah is like, so I put something in myself. He says it's the Zer Anpin to a Siyah, which is like the higher level of flow into it. So now he explains, Obir ha'inyan hu, Shaharei kli kol olam of olam, kol b'chamesha partzufim. So every olam, so we're talking about a Siyah, our world. It has 5 partzufim. Ba'ofen shahachokma shuhu parts of Abba, nikra chatzilus v'osa olam. So therefore we have the concept of an Abba of olam atzilus, of olam Asiya, and it's called the Abba of that. Ubina is parts of Ima, olam Asiya. He nikras Bria the Osa Olam. So he wants to say that Bria is also called the female aspect of Olam Asiya. V'hachagat nai, so the body, the goof itself, shuhu parts of a Zer Anpin, nikra Yitzira the Osa Olam. V'hamamalchu shuhu parts of Nukva the Zer Anpin, nikra Asiya the Osa Olam. It is the bottom line. It is the Asiya of Asiya. So therefore, what we're learning over here, Shachatikun shall yifne v'yitu yadav hu b'yitzira, when we say it's in Yitzira, the Chasiya, hainu shuhu b'parts of Zer Anpin the Olam Asiya. What I'm missing here, of course, is the definition of what the Zer Anpin of Asiya does, but I guess it flows down, just it's an aspect, a spiritual aspect of Olam Asiya. So then the Rav says like this, he says, understand this. You should have an understanding in all of this. How it is, he's just laying out the structure of it. Some of the insides, so I'd like to learn more about it. But he says, yesh bepratus kol olam, as kol arba olam asabiyah, said in every olam there are the 4 worlds of Asiya, shehem bepartzufim, the kol olam ve'olam, which are the 5 partzufim of every. Okay, so he has a little number test down below, and I wanted to just read it because I have it in yellow. I don't know if it helps. He said, so understand this. So he says, Shemati oimrim b'shem hamukubel Rav Mordechai Sharabi, he says, it's all. Heichen shekosev morchu v'havein zeh. We see a lot of different places that Rabbi Chaim Vital writes this word v'havein zeh. And the pirush of this, shemarchu noisin bracha la'adam, what he means havein zeh, he's giving you a bracha. It's not a command like that. It's a bracha that you'll be able to understand it. Alomed zos shenavein asod shebedabazeh. That you could understand the yisod in this. Let's see how we're doing time-wise. We could do one more kuf nun tes. Val tisma im timsecha b'makom acher shehi b'yitziras. So don't get shu b'tziras. But the chayre yesh the haksha. But there's a question here. Shahari pamim matzinu shachatikun deyifne v'yitu yadav hu b'yitziras. So he says, but we see someplace else that really refers not to olam asiyah, not the yitzira of asiyah, but the olam of yitzira itself. The mashma minaz, we understand the she'ein zecha b'chasiyah. It's not in asiyah, it's in yitzira. But the chayre hu hefech, so that makes everything different. Aklefish hamavur la'el, but according to what we said above, kol osi shafir, everything comes out good. Kemen shabir ha'inyan hu shazer ha'tikun hu b'yitzira the asiyah, because it's in the asiyah of yitziyah, of asiyah. So sometimes it's mentioned in referring to Olam Asiyah. Because there you see that the tikkun is generally talking about Olam Asiyah. And so the upamim shemazkir Rav as Malcolm Atikun, but sometimes he zeroes in on it. And he's talking about an aspect, a detail of Olam Asiyah, which is called the Yitzira of Asiyah, Shuhu Abi Yitzira. Behind the Yitzira Dosiyah. Although ain't a Kavanot shezera b'tikun, but it's the Kavanot is not that this tikun na'asa ba'olam Yitzira the klalos is not in the olam Yitzira the klalos. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Kol tov.